Hey, Thrand here,
Hey, this is Eldgrim.
and we're back with the Book of the Samurai, the fundamental teachings of the Notori Ryu. We have a subject that Eldgrim has picked out of it that I thought sounded very interesting, and it sounded actually applicable even in the modern day and age. Something we can review about the book. What was the...
Oh yeah, I bookmarked the page actually. I bookmarked it on my Kindle as well, but I like this hardback. It's just beautiful. It's just something really nice to show.
There's something about having a book in your hands. It's always going to be different than having it on a computer or having it on a Kindle or something. The Kindle's nice to read, but it's something about having the actual book in your library.
Right.
Yeah.
So this is the Book of the Samurai by Andy Cummins and
Translated by Yoshie
Minami. And this is their fundamental teachings of the Notori Ryu. And what we've chosen to talk about today is some articles on houses or being in your home.
And defending it.
Right. And
in defense.
right. So we picked a really interesting topic, and we were talking the other day about being prepared for home invasions and things like that. And
becoming a lot more common nowadays.
Yeah, it's becoming necessary to be prepared for these things. So we were talking about that subject, and I was reading the Notori Ryu book when we were talking about that, and I came across this article in here saying, keeping primary weapons in the living room. In your main room of use, when positioning your katana, wakizashi, spear, halberd, or any other weapon you excel in, long weapons should be placed to the rear and on your right, while your katana, wakizashi, and other things should be placed on the left. Also, position spears and halberds at the main entrance of the living room with the tips of the blades towards the opening. Long weapons and projectiles kept in the main room can be positioned depending on circumstances of the room itself.
That makes total sense, though. I mean, because a pole arm or a spear, anything like that, they would be using their yaris, would be needing to be pointing towards the actual entrance of the doorway you're trying to defend, or where the person would be coming from if they came in on you. The reason why is you might not have the luxury of moving it around because of the ceiling height. Some of theirs had some very large dwellings. But if you don't have the height or the room width, you're going to need that point going that way, because normally you're going to be using it to thrust with. And most Japanese were always right-handed, so that's going to be your dominant stance. You're going to need it that way to use it properly and defend yourself with. So having it to the right and farther back is good, so that way you can get to it easily and have it facing where you need it and just pick it up and use it. It's kind of like it would work the same with rifles.
Like in the military, if you've ever done any drill or anything in the military at all, everything you do with a rifle always comes from your right-hand side. When you pick it up, when you chamber the round, everything comes from the right. So same thing applies. So it's your long-range weapon and your short-range weapons that you would draw
from a sword. That's kind of a medium-length weapon. It's always drawn from the left-hand side in Japanese swordsmanship. For Aiijutsu, for everything, it's drawn from the left-hand side.
Right.
And they even carry their shorter blade, the wakizashi, which could be on the right side if they really wanted it. It wouldn't matter. But they carry it on this side because it can be drawn this way. They can be drawn this way because it's sharp. It can be drawn from here. This can be drawn from here. You're fine. Yeah. So having them on this side is great. The only thing that might be a difference in is maybe a pistol or something you might have on your hip on the right.
That's
to
true.
The right as well, because you might need to get.
That's true, unless of course
if it was on your person, it'd probably be.
Well, now that's debatable because some people like to use.
And then that would
holsters here,
sure,
and pull across, and even in the old West, some guys even had holsters that drew across their belly.
It's just when they're that short, it doesn't matter anymore. The dagger can be in
Short weapons or something, especially like
I think this is specifically having them in your domicile where you're living or where you're staying at, because you're not going to have them on you normally.
No.
So that's where to put them. Put them on this side, pointing towards the door. Have all your ranged or projectile weapons pointing towards the door, where you can easily access them, which like a rifle, the right-hand side. Yeah. And then having anything like melee weapons that are medium range or short on the left-hand side.
Sure, you're setting up the home field.
You can grab the sword and swing it from this direction and use it easily, where you can't do that with it.
Yeah. Yeah, well, I mean, you're setting up the home field advantage is what they're telling you. You got home field advantage in your own living domicile, in your own domicile. Correct. So having the home field advantage, you get to set your weapons up for invasion any way you want.
And if you had, I'm sure if you went back to an old Viking home, it'd probably be the same thing where they put their weapons and how they.
Well, in medieval times, they have writings about how you even sleep in your room. In medieval times, or in ancient times, like in Viking times, the 9th century, you slept with your feet facing the door.
With the weapon, yeah.
With a weapon.
Next
so
to your right-hand side.
If you woke up, sitting up facing the doorway.
Correct, with the weapon to your
With a
right.
weapon to your
Right.
side, yeah.
And your shield to your left, yeah.
Sure. So the same thing is taught all across a lot of cultures, but it's just interesting that we get to see it in
And
writing.
this could maybe help our viewers because I'm sure they have medieval weapons. They might be defending their homes with theirs. So definitely, if you have a polearm or a spear, even to be short, that's
That right there,
applicable modernly.
This this book, these scrolls from the Notori Ru, very clearly show that you are more than able to use a spear in your home as long as you have it
Right.
positioned
You can use
properly.
it in a tight hallway.
As long as you have it positioned properly, where you don't have to turn it around or anything like that. It's pointing straight toward the door, and you get
Your
the best
exception
possible
would be
defense.
if they get past that point, you're going to have a shorter weapon to defend yourself. If you're melee, you're going to have to use a sword or a shard or something, an axe, anything. So
That's true. Yeah, very true.
Because you won't be able to move it around to get it or back up far enough to
True.
utilize
Yeah.
it. You might get backed into a corner if they get on.
Right, but that's the great thing about home field advantage is you can drop that spear any time and go to one of your
Correct.
other weapons. Excuse
Correct.
me, any one of your weapons you can go straight to it.
It's totally valid what they say.
And this book's got some other great stuff in that chapter on being in your home, like secret entrances and exits, so you can get in and out of your home secretly. These are great for you to sneak up on the enemy or even
get
hide
away.
or get away.
Believe it or
anything.
not, in the old sagas, they talk about them setting the houses on fire to get people to come out so they can kill them. Well, believe it or not, a lot of the old longhouses, the Langan houses, actually had a secret exit to get out that they could slip away a
I've
little
heard about
tunnel
that.
to get away. So if they set the house on fire, they could go down in there and get out a little
Well,
further away, so they could work right there to be slaughtered.
Right.
So
Well,
they
believe it or
actually
not,
escape.
guys, Thrand and I even have a couple of secret entrances or / exits from the house. We won't tell you what they are or where they're at,
Right.
but those have been developed, and we know how to use them. The whole family kind of knows where the accesses are, and that's
They're
a real
great
big
for
help.
fire as well as if
Mhm.
you're trying to escape or just to get out in a way.
Or-
if you don't want somebody, if you wanted to avoid somebody and go about your
And those are all developed based on where you live. For example, if you lived in a place below sea level, like in a place like New Orleans, you might make yours an exit to go out onto the roof or something like that in case of a hurricane. You might have an escape for a flood.
or out of a root cellar or whatever.
Or have a root cellar, right?
If it's an area, you can have that.
Right,
Correct.
sure. So yours may depend on your area, and so
Attic door
climate.
or something, anything.
Yeah. Your climate can have a lot to do with that. And again, where you position your weapons based on where those things are might also have something to do
Correct.
with those things. This book even has some information on having criminals break into your home and what to do and how to be alert, how to think first before before shouting out or drawing them out. To get yourself in the right position by exiting the building
Go
and
through
have
the
one.
scenario. It's good to go through the scenario if somebody did break in and what you would do. Think of the different situations of how they might get in and what situation they might catch you in and how you would deal with it.
Exactly.
And that might be a good place to figure out where you would want your defenses or your weapons or anything you might use to defend yourself.
and this book
or
talks.
even if you consider a phone a weapon, where you'd want something to get a hold of somebody immediately.
Sure.
Most people have cell phones nowadays, but still.
Right, yeah, and this book even, I love that in this book you talk about capturing and killing people that infiltrate your home, and in a lot of places in the world you can't use lethal force even in your home,
Right.
which I'm not going to talk right or wrong politics on this. Some
Here in
places,
Texas, it's
here in Texas,
if
it's
they're on
allowed.
your property or in your home and they're stealing something or threatening
hurting
your life,
you or-
you can use lethal force.
lethal
and
force,
nothing.
and there's no problem. So, we love that part of this book. Capturing, you might want to draw them. You might want to leave the domicile and have somebody stay in and use teamwork and get them drawn to maybe an entrance where you guys can capture them
In the book,
now this is according to the book. That you could do that back in those days. Maybe that can apply.
Some
even
places
today.
there's entrapment law, so you might
Yeah.
if you had it predetermined, even if it's somebody you didn't know or didn't really expect it to happen and did something like that, they might get you for entrapment, which sounds strange, but it depends on
that.
where,
I agree. So
you're
we're not telling anybody
Right,
to do
no.
those things, but we're just saying that in modern context, a lot of what this book talks about, as far as defending your home, is applicable. I think that's really
At
cool.
any time period. Also, didn't it talk about the size of rooms, corridors, and doorways?
That's right. It
A
does.
small doorway or a small hallway can be defended very easily by one person against many people.
Mm-hmm.
Especially if you have something like a polearm or a spear, ranged weapons, and a melee weapon. I mean, you can pretty much defend that almost forever with just a spear.
Yeah, because of that choke
If
point.
it's pointing that direction and you have,
Sure, you only get only so many
only
people
one
can walk
person can
through.
come at a time.
Yeah.
But if you have a large opening, it's very much harder to defend that. And they were also talking about sneaking around. I think I remember reading that in there. Yeah, you want to know your area that you're in, so you don't, like, say you're trying to avoid the thief that broke in your house or the guy who might be going to harm you.
Mm-hmm.
Well, you want to know where everything's at, so you don't bump into something.
And
They say
alert
a sword
him.
sheath, yeah.
Yeah, but you don't want to alert him. Yeah, they talk about that narrow
You should know
doorways.
your own home, though. You should know. And the old joke of I leave stuff around the house strategically so a burglar won't know it's there and trip and alert me they're there.
Yeah,
we do that occasionally.
Yeah, well, actually, his sons do that a lot.
Certainly.
They leave Legos and things around. I mean, anybody that breaks into this house.
We're lucky we're not dead. I'll be surprised.
Yeah,
if
I mean, the things we
survived
slipped
coming
on.
in. Yeah.
The toys with the batteries in them that you touch them and they go off, like those are our alarm systems. And I'm sure that the Japanese had some kids that probably left toys.
Floors, they talk about that, making floors that if you step on them, they creak.
They creak,
on purpose.
deliberately, yeah. Or build one step shorter or higher than the others.
To screw you up.
To screw you up. Oh, yeah. But what I was saying is I'm sure Japanese children left toys on the floor and some burglar comes in, slips, smack! Shit, somebody broke in.
Or trip over something that you wouldn't even expect to be there in the middle of the...
Right, yeah. So I'm sure those problems persisted even then. They definitely persist now, and I think knowing your home is good. We know in our home that children... A lot of this is
basic information, but it's good to read it because it makes you think.
It does.
It makes you think about it because you might not have ever really considered it.
I consider this a thinking man's book. It might be a fundamental book.
You might just be able to decorate a room with your weapons, but it gives you an idea where they should be. You know?
I was saying that this is a thinking man's book. What I mean is that this is a book for critical thinkers. This book reminds you all the time, think critically.
Correct.
Think on your feet.
Think ahead.
Think ahead. Plan ahead. Be ready. And I think that's a good thing. And I think they repeat that theme over and over.
Correct.
Think. Use your head first.
And they explain why. So
yeah, they really do. They explain why, which I love that. This is the Book of the Samurai.
We will come back with action, though.
It's the Book of the Samurai, Notori Fundamentals book. And like Thrand says, we'll be back with
some action out of this, which stuff we want to
test. Oh, yeah. We got some really awesome ones.
We couldn't really test this because, I mean, what would we be doing? Just having a pole arm showing you tight
Maybe I might try and, hey, you never know. We might do it. We might one day actually put a pole arm in the living room.
We have a little mark with it pointing the wrong way, me trying to turn it around and can't get it that way.
Sure, yeah. It might be pretty cool. We might try something like that someday. So you never know. But this book is just a really great read. You can get it online. You can find it in bookstores soon. I believe it's going to hit shelves very soon. And get this, it's already out on Kindle. As a matter of fact, if you'll permit me a moment, Kindle. This book is available like thank you. This book is available like many others from Anthony Cummins. It's available on the Kindle. If you haven't got a Kindle, I highly recommend one. I happen to use the Kindle, and here it is, the Notori book here, and of course you've got. The Iga and Koga Fire Skills book, the Viking Martial Arts book,
very good
Samurai, another great one,
Talking about sagas.
And they're all available right here on the Kindle at great prices, but still nothing beats having this beautiful hardback, and even the paperbacks are lovely. I just don't want to break the bindings on these. They're gorgeous. So I bought all of Anthony Cummins' books that we already own. I've got them digitally on my Kindle, so definitely think about getting your Kindle. These are priced really, really well.
Right.
Very well. And, these are just so gorgeous that I hate to break the binding, so that's why I buy them digitally. But don't be afraid to buy these hard copies. They're just beautiful on your bookshelf, and you can always go get you the digital copy so you don't tear them up. We got to thank Anthony Cummins and
for sending us ahead of time to us.
Oh yeah, getting an advance.
We've had fun reading it. We just took us a long time to actually be able to read through this and take it in because.
Well, it's a very long read. It's a very large book. I mean, when you look at the thickness of this.
Lots of detail. Lots of detail.
I mean, man, great read. Really stokes the imagination. If you're a gamer or anything.
About the 16th century. It's around 16th, 17th century.
So during that,
applies to 16th century book.
So yeah, if you're an anachronist or anything like that, highly recommend this book. Beautiful book. Lots of fun to read. Really like to thank you for joining us today, everybody. If you're not a subscriber yet, please subscribe. You can just click the subscribe button down below. We love subscribers here. New subscribers get emails, and they know when our new content comes out. So it's always highly recommended to be a subscriber if you want to know when our new videos come out. Like our videos. Be sure to leave comments in the comments threads. We're always happy to answer your questions and chat with you.
Yeah, we certainly will.
And you can always find us on Facebook. We have 2 Facebook pages.
The Thrand and Eldgrim's Well of Remembrance, which is our like page. Anybody can go there and like it. If you want to be a member of the special boat crew, which is the Thrand YouTube boat crew, you can go there and request to join, and either Eldgrim or I will accept you. And as long as you enjoy hanging out with a bunch of rowdy Vikings, there shouldn't be any problem with you being there hanging out, especially if you're a reenactor. You don't necessarily have to be Viking, but you can be into any type of military history, reenactment. Just love medieval weaponry, like watching our program, and like to give us suggestions. Go ahead.
That's true, and you know we got lots of interesting characters already in there. Guys that are blacksmiths and bowyers and
other reenactors, HEMA practitioners, and anybody who researches, like I said, military history or ancient arms and armor from all different time periods. And I'm sure that if we don't know something, there's somebody there that could help you.
Hey, our boat crew is full of really skilled guys.
Very resourceful.
Yeah, very resourceful people. Love to have all of you there. So we always appreciate having new members to bring their skills into the crew. Also, don't forget, guys, you can help improve our content on our channel. Already, your donations have helped so much. Like we've got our green screen here, as you've seen. We've been using that recently.
We improved our ballistic skeleton heads.
Yep, improved our conditions for shooting both indoors and outdoors with your contributions. So every contribution continues to help, and
even
also
if the intellectual, sometimes they just give us suggestions.
Suggestions are great, and those can be sent to us as well. We also like contributions, not just to financial, monetary contributions, but
stuff you make, stuff you create, stuff you sell. If you have a business and you'd like us to test it out, just let us know, and we'll be more than happy to test it or give evaluations on it, let you know what we think about it, and put out videos about our testing and what we find.
Oh yeah, and of course those things will continue to make more appearances because we always
anything
find
we like
uses.
and we use will be in every video.
We find uses for almost everything.
When we need it, we will use it.
Yeah, we're resourceful ourselves, and again, we thank you so much for joining us, guys, and stay tuned for more from us here at YouTube channel Thrand, and farewell, everyone.
Farewell.